Hello and welcome to the Next 100 Days podcast. My name is Graham Arrowsmith.
And my name's Kevin Appleby. So, Graham, you've been on your travels to the United States and you've been kidnapping young ladies to appear as guests on our show.
Well, kidnapping's not quite
I can't believe that anybody's come along voluntarily after meeting.
Yeah, well, I sort of interfered with Malu's pleasant evening and asked her a couple of questions, and she was so gracious. And Malu Marsault, yeah?
Yes, that's right.
Welcome to the Next 100 Days podcast.
The difficult names to pronounce.
Yeah, Malu, he always leaves it to me. It's always my problem to say the name, but I always get it wrong. But it's Marsault because it's French origin, yeah?
Yes, correct. It's my husband's last name.
I see. Okay. Yeah, and I've seen his picture on Instagram. He's quite a good-looking chap, isn't he? So,
He's so hot.
you picked off the top shelf there, that's for sure. But no, it's we met in Orlando at the world's biggest Marriott hotel, and we were both attending. Well, I actually was attending a day with Dan, but I didn't go on to spend the rest of the week there. And you did. You spent, 4 or 5 days with Russell Brunson at the Funnel Hacking Live event.
That's right. That is right. And it was an amazing event.
Tell us a little bit about that, because to be honest with you, I'm trying to understand why you would want to go.
So FHL Funnel Hacking Live is an event for entrepreneurs, and they have a lineup of world-class speakers that they will come and discuss different subjects on digital marketing, personal development, and I love it. Especially, I think something that really like what marks me more, what leaves like more traces in myself is really the personal development side, because I do believe that your business will grow as much as you do.
Yeah.
So understanding yourself, going through this, because being an entrepreneur is a different game than being an employee, and there is different struggles to go through. So being in the room with like-minded people that are building the type of business that we are all wanted to do, because we are there because we are all in the digital space. It's an online business, selling through funnels. So being around people that are doing millions, there's at least 1,000 people from all the total attendees that are already having the 2 Comma Club award and above. So they made at least $1 million.
That's a club that I would like to be amongst, Kevin, the 2 Comma Club, which I think you'll catch on pretty quickly. But it's
2 Comma Club. That sounds like a really, really exciting title.
Well, just explain it for Kevin, because he's a numbers man and he doesn't quite get commas. But tell us what it is. What would you have to do to get into the 2 Comma Club?
So when you build one funnel on ClickFunnels and you make $1 million as a minimum on revenue, then you qualify to receive your 2 Comma Club award.
Wow. So, and the 2
and that
commas
has to be on ClickFunnels.
Yes.
Yes.
But
with one funnel, not with multiple funnels.
All right. That's something I didn't actually appreciate. But to actually get to a 2 Comma Club, so $1 million of turnover from one funnel, and they can be quite sophisticated, these funnels, can't they? But I mean, you have a funnel for your business as well, don't you?
I do have a funnel. For now, I have a squeeze funnel where I am collecting people's emails so I can, have my own database. But I am about to build another funnel for the course that I'm going to be launching.
Ah, right. So at the moment, your squeeze funnel, as you called it, if I and your business is you've named it This Mama Invests.
Correct.
which I think is fantastic. I mean, it's
Oh,
just
thank you.
because you're actually your ideal audience. Well, you tell me, what's your ideal audience?
Well, my ideal audience are moms
Hmm.
that are expats,
Right. Yeah.
and they have toddlers.
Right.
They
Okay.
are interested in taking control of their finances and
Yeah.
create generational, like they want to learn how to do it.
So are you looking in a mirror now?
If I'm looking in a
In a
mirror,
mirror. So are you looking at yourself? I mean, is that
um,
you? Mm,
yes, absolutely. Like definitely, like when I wanted to choose like who am I going to be serving, it is like myself, like 3 years ago.
yeah. So you're married, you're an expat, you've got toddlers, etc. So, but the thing that you're offering to these mamas is what?
I'm gonna be launching one program to learn how to invest in the financial markets,
Okay.
in the
Okay.
stock market,
So
precisely.
why would these particular women not be aware of how to do that?
Because most people, not just women, but most people don't know how to do it. Like if you think about it, I mean, this is something that I realized when I was getting started. I wanted to like, I was asking around for people to give me advice, family, friends. I was asking people that were even in finance with high position, like director of finance here, someone, like people in finance, and
Yeah. Yeah.
nobody knew like how to do it, because then I realized like finance for a corporation is different than personal finance, and the fact that people work in finance doesn't necessarily mean that they know or they are actively investing or applying the concepts that they know.
Yeah.
So I realized that it was something that I needed to look for a coach. I
Yeah.
needed to like go through I needed to take the risk and jump on that. But I think it's important to start opening the conversation about money, finances, because otherwise people are left to figure everything out by themselves.
Sure. So you're stepping in because you've had to learn how to become an investor, and so you're helping people similar to yourself to do that themselves, but not particular. You don't exclude men. So Kevin could get on your course, but he's a bit old. I mean, he's in his 70s, but I mean, all right, he's not in his 70s, but I don't know why he puts up with me, but but you could have men on your course, but most of the people on your course will be the Instagram population, won't they?
Yes, like say 65% of my audience are women.
Yeah.
And I like you said, I will accept everybody. Like if any man wants to sign up to my program, they're most welcome. But nevertheless, like I love making content that is addressed to women and talk about things about motherhood that are, relatable. And I think it's important to have a feminine voice discussing topics that are normally very male, in a male dominated field.
Do you know, Kevin, in your experience, Kevin does he works with a membership group called Grow CFO, Chief Financial Officers.
Mm-hmm.
Have you come across anybody? I mean, we have financial advisors, but anybody that sort of fits this sort of gap? Have you talked to anybody on your show as well, Kevin?
No, and this is a very much of a different niche to any that I've been talking to. So really interested to find out from somebody else who is running online courses exactly how you're going about delivering them and marketing them. So when you're delivering a course, Malu, is this completely self-service, or is the live content as well with yourself?
So there is a mix of pre-recorded material and live, like weekly live to answer questions. And also I will have a membership where I analyze my portfolio on a weekly basis. And do some moves and discuss like actual investment opportunities. So it's a mix.
That's really interesting, because that's the thing that investors miss out on. You don't always see that, and that's very, very helpful to see how other people are doing that and the decisions and how you make decisions. That's really, really helpful. I mean, if anybody's immediately listening to this and thinking, I have to sign up to this, I've got to get Malu my email. All they have to do is to go to This Mama Invests, just as it sounds, thismamainvests.com, and that will take you to your page where it says create your first high return investment in only 5 days. What? I mean, that's some promise.
That's a promise. Very definitely a promise.
Well, definitely. This is a blueprint where I lay out what you need to do on day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like if you are on fire, I want to learn everything, like you can do it in 5 days, but it's not a promise of returns in 5 days. Like you can set up your account, you can find out what is the risk tolerance. Yes, I mean, if you have all your numbers, you can know it in like a couple of hours. You can select and what I'm like the kind of assets that I mentioned on my blueprint is something that is like the super low risk profile type of asset, which is just like a ETF index funds that like you cannot go wrong with that. For the average person. Opening your account, that can take like perhaps like a couple of days to get it open, but otherwise these are like actions that you can take on daily basis and have it done like really quick.
So Malu, the people who sign up to your course, they don't actually give you money.
No, they pay for the course.
They pay for the course, but you don't invest on their behalf.
No. What I do is teach people how to fish their own fish. Like how to create your own investing strategy based on your risk tolerance, based on your goals. And also it's important to know, because that way, when you know how to analyze an investment opportunity, you know how to differentiate good advice from bad advice, because on internet there are so much noise, so much information, people on YouTube, articles that they're the media are always wanting like, you need to buy these 5 stocks right now to get rich, or you need to do this. If you don't know how to think about it, you may fall for buying something that is above your risk tolerance.
What made you think about doing this in the first place?
Well, I can tell you like how I got started with this, and it's actually the moment where it was like February of 2020, and the hotel where I was working had to close due to COVID. It became like a hotel, like it became like a hospital for COVID patients. And I was in the commercial department, so there is no need for people selling hotels anymore. And I was sent home. Luckily, my salary was still there, but like I was at home, and there was a lot of, like everybody else, like a lot of uncertainty, like what's going to happen. Maybe I'm going to lose my job soon. We don't know when the hotel is going to open. 2 days later, I found out I was pregnant with my 3rd baby. And it was not planned. So when I announced to my husband, like, I decided to put like the pregnancy test inside the oven, and when he came back from work, I told him, babe, I have a surprise for you. And he went to open, and he was pale. She was like, are you serious? What are we going to do? And like, I was filming, I have the video. And I was like, what do you mean? What are we going to do? I mean, we are going to figure it out. But he was like, but what are we going to do? We have no money. And at that moment, I asked him, are you happy? And he kept saying, what are we going to do? So money took away the joy of the moment of announcing the pregnancy. And I felt so bad. Like, for me, that was the catalyst to say, like, I don't want money to control my life. And I need to do something. Like, I need to take the bull by the horns and take control, like start learning how do I do. And at that moment, I started, I came across the book of Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And for the first time ever, like when I heard that you need to make your money work for you, I was like, what is that even a thing? Like, I work for money. That's what I learned from school. Like, you need to find a job and then work for many years, and then you will retire eventually when you're 60. That's what I knew. That's why I always saw in people around me. Because, well, you know, middle class, and I grew up with parents that were struggling financially as well. So I, like, all that was familiar to me was struggles and not having enough money, etc. So at that moment, when my husband told me that, I realized I'm going to repeat the history and carry all this financial trauma down to my children, or I can do something. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I decided I was going to do something. So I started like reading the books. I found a coach. I even took a loan because I signed up on a 1-year program later on that cost me like $25,000. I didn't have the money, but I wanted to do it. So I said, like, I'm going to do, like, I had this conviction of I'm going to do whatever it takes. Like, I'm in a point where I don't care what has to happen, but it will happen. And at the same time, with COVID, I realized so many things, like the idea of a safe, secure job is just an illusion, because something happens and then you don't have a job anymore. So, you know, depending on 1 or 2 sources of income per household, then you lose 1 or 2, and then you are screwed. So this whole idea of, like, I start having so many questions that I went all in. I was still doing some work. We were doing something just different in the hotel. But I was, and even when eventually we went back to the office, like I was staying until midnight, 1 a.m., doing the homework, going on social media, and just doing what my coach told me to do. So
Kevin, this is the second time I've heard that story. And the first time was in a bar in Orlando, and I was absolutely, just as I've been now again for the second time, spellbound, because you are such an impressive person and I think what Russell Brunson's got within the ClickFunnels community is a lot of people very much like you. They're very, very committed to making their way as entrepreneurs. And if you listen to Malu in that, even if you just rewound the tape, I know you don't have tapes anymore, but if you go back and listen to this, you'll hear that passion and that the choices that you had to make and the real angst that you had right at the beginning with your husband. And, you know, he was, you know, probably like most men, what on earth am I going to do? And you saw a different future for yourself at that moment. And that is a massive credit to you, Malu.
Thank you so much. It really means to me when you say it.
And well, but now you've got to a situation where you've built the course and you've got materials for people. And then now you can impact the lives of other people.
Exactly. So I started working on the finances. I managed to build 2 portfolios now. Like, actually, yeah, like a one portfolio for myself and my husband, another one for our kids. I expanded into cryptocurrency as well. And overall is all like a little bit above $100,000.
Okay.
And now I feel like I can help people that are just getting started.
Yeah. So you're
That's very impressive, Malu. So you've gone from 2020, which is only 2 years ago, well, perhaps nearly 3, but you've gone from 0 portfolio to $100,000 portfolio, and from working in the hotel industry for a salary to effectively setting up your own business, which is going to generate income for you.
Exactly.
That is impressive in that short space of time, and presumably properly fund the arrival of little one number 3, who your husband
Oh my
said,
gosh.
can't afford this.
Yes, I mean, thankfully, this like everything happens for you, like Tony Robbins says. Everything happens not to you but for you. And sometimes when you think you are at the worst moment, if you have 2 choices, right? Either you dwell on it and you feel sorry for yourself, and then or you can take that as a fuel, go in the opposite direction.
I mean, I can't help but think that you're going to be massively successful, not just for yourself, but for other people. And I think that's what drives most entrepreneurs, isn't it? That you see, if you like, a cohort of people where you think, and well, not think, but know that you can actually help them. And actually you're a chapter or 2 ahead of people because you've built this portfolio, and it might be a couple of years, etc. And you've built lots of information about them. And you've almost got to get that across. Is one of the things that you're good at, the idea of making these quite complicated things simple?
Absolutely. And I love it. I mean, I was a teacher when I was younger as a side hustle. I used to be French teacher for kids and also for adults. So I had I took a training for that. And this idea of having something complex, in this case, French, and then decrypt and crypt, I don't know if that's even a word,
No, I understand.
but decode and then recode according to your audience, and explain concept, like in my case, like for Spanish speakers that want to learn French as a second language, like how to pass the information. So there is a lot of simplification and explaining, and I really enjoyed that time. I did it for like 3 years. So I just love people. And this is also why I was in hospitality, because I love talking to people. I love building these connections, and I love money as well. So it's a good way to mix everything in one thing.
Well, Malu, you're female, so of course you love money. But I mean, all females do, don't they? I mean,
I met you. They love shiny jewelry.
Well, you sent me a picture earlier, and you don't half scrub up well. I mean, I've got to say that photograph that you sent was absolutely amazing. Very posh. You must have been in a very posh place with a very expensive handbag next to you. So I don't know if that was yours, or I don't know whether was it your handbag or.
It's my handbag, but it's not very expensive.
Well, it looks very expensive. To Kevin and I'm sure it would be more expensive than we'd want to buy ours. But anyway,
I must confess that I've never spent a large amount of money on a handbag for myself, Graham.
Well, no, not particularly for ourselves, Kevin, but for our better halves. But what I would say is that, you know, if you're building this course now for people, if you cast yourself forward, let's just say another 2 or 3 years, where would you like to be?
In 2 to 3 years, well, definitely I want to be a speaker like I want to speak on a stage. I want to have a book. or two. Like one of my goals is to write a book next year. I mean, I want to increase the impact of what I'm doing, and definitely like, you know, build. I want to retire my husband. That's actually one of the most important things that I want to do. Like I want him to be able to choose to do what he wants to do. Just a second, please. Okay, thank you.
We don't worry. We'll leave that in, because it's really important that, you know, how are you getting on with people? Turn it off. You know, what can you say? I love that. I love that. You're it's not that you're a bossy boots in any way whatsoever. But no, I think but no, I love that. But I think I like those objectives. Writing a book, I think, would be. We recorded another podcast this morning with somebody who's just released his second book, and oddly enough, that is about female entrepreneurs like you. When they go and try and raise money for their businesses, they find it difficult to get money. You know, versus men. You know, he's kind of written the book of how to go around to get that fixed, sort of thing. Now, when it comes to your book, what kind of title's already there in your mind?
This Mama Invests.
Fairly obvious.
I love the way that brand is going. Yeah, I love the brand. It's great. It's a great title.
It sticks, doesn't it? This Mama Invests.
There's a power there of 3 words. And the book that we were talking about on the last episode, Funded Female Founders. Yeah. The power of 3 is tremendous. Yeah, it's very strong. Like a 3-legged stool. But I do like that idea. But the deliverable of the book is going to be your story, but also presumably a bit like the previous podcast, it's going to be how to, or the next step, or moving towards your course or whatever. Yes, I think it's going to be based on the course that I am building, but very much simplified. So as to a person that has zero knowledge to grasp the idea, to ignite the interest to want to look for more, like, you know, to empower someone to, okay, this is interesting and it should be a priority. Yeah. What was the name of what is the name of your third child? Luna. Luna. I seem to remember that for some strange reason. I'm sure I asked you that before. But and of course now Luna must be what, 2? She's 2, yes. Yeah. And my guess is your husband absolutely adores her. Thank you so much. No, and but the beauty of this is that your whole story really touched me when we met, and I think the beauty of actually taking action, you know, in a pretty difficult situation. Although you're a bright person, you have a master's degree, don't you? I do. I have a master's degree in hotel and food service management. Wow. I mean, can you get a master's degree in food service? I mean, what? Yes. what do they teach you? Well, it's in hospitality, but like a hospital, like a restaurant or a hotel is a business. So it's like basically how to run your business. Right. Like you have a lot of corporate finance, you have human resources, like you have like business school content, but applied to hospitality. Okay. So if we had, say, a handful of ladies, maybe a bit like yourself, maybe young mums, and they don't really have that much money, but they are really taken with the idea that they need to create a fund
that protects not just them but their children, and like you said, to retire your husband. You can't retire a husband, he's going to be your husband, but I know what you mean. Well, you can retire a husband.
I wouldn't go down that particular
No,
road.
I just realized what I'd said then. But you know, I mean, to make life easier, I think generally, so that you have options within the family. But let's say they're looking for that kind of certainty that you can perhaps offer them, that what to do next in terms of investing.
Mm-hmm.
What are the steps that you would likely take them through? Just the high level steps that you were going to take them through.
Yes. So one of the most important concepts to understand is that in order to create wealth, it's an ecosystem of different things. So for me, it's like number one, investing in yourself, which I call it like continuous learning. For me, it's like 4 C's. The first C, continuous learning or investing in yourself, learning something that will allow you to, number 2, create multiple revenue streams.
Yeah.
So increase your income. And then the third C, compound. So that income invested so it can grow faster. And then the latest, which is actually the most important, is cultivate a wealth mindset, which is actually like 90% of your success. 10% is all the mechanics, 90% is your mindset. But it's like doing everything with these 3 main concepts plus your mindset. And that is exactly how I started. I invested in myself on a course that allowed me to learn how to increase my income and how to compound or invest my income. So I was doing affiliate marketing. Now I do also brand partnerships, and all the income that I can get is invested. And also like learning some concepts of how to manage your money, like for instance, paying yourself first instead of paying yourself last, which is what I was doing, what I know a lot of people are also struggling with, but also like how to create a budget that works for you and your family. It can be like the 50, 30, 20, or it can be like a different combination, but at least like know your numbers and commit to having a portion that is going to be for your financial future. And then once you commit to that, then you can start like investing. And for that, I have it like summarized in like 5 steps. The first one, you create an account with a broker. The second one, you identify your risk tolerance. Then you set your financial goals. You pick assets according to your risk tolerance and goals. And then you create a strategy for each asset with what I call the perfect asset analysis checklist, in which you go through the fundamental analysis, sentiment analysis, technical analysis, and general analysis.
Sentimental analysis. That sounds like Kevin should be doing more of that.
that Graham is about, well, there are some shares available in Leeds United. Should you buy them because you're a Leeds United fan?
I've done that, lost money on that.
Chance of making some money out of them.
No chance of that.
The sentimental analysis sort of ignores them making any money on them.
Yeah, well, I suppose so. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a very thorough, when you kind of, that's very top level, but if the course helps people go through those steps, and then practically you're opening an account, you're really putting real money in there, you're picking real stocks. And this is just about stocks, isn't it? You're not investing in anything. You did mention cryptocurrency, but is it just about stocks, or are you looking at other asset classes as well?
Well, the program that I'm going to open is going to be only for stock market.
Okay.
I do cryptocurrency for myself, but I don't think that is like a beginner level on investing.
No.
So, and I want to I want to open the world of investing for someone that is like beginner.
Yeah. Well, that's really, really, honestly, I mean, this is quite amazing. I mean, have you found anybody else doing something similar to you?
Well, yes, there is like a lot of people doing, and it's growing, and I love seeing like more people doing it, like even like from the same class that we took together, like my like other colleagues. Like I have a very good friend that she does the same for Brazilians, all the
Oh,
content
right.
in Portuguese. Another one that talks to nurses, and like she teaches investing for nurses only.
Yeah.
Another a friend that does it for Christian couples.
So,
So niching down
yeah,
to the specific audience that you want to serve. I mean, applying a concept that is can be applied for everyone, but you know, when you talk to everyone, you talk to anyone.
yeah.
No, you talk to no one. Sorry, when you talk to everyone, you talk to no one.
No,
So
I get that.
niching
Yeah.
down is
But you
actually,
said that you would be open to men coming in, so you're not that strict, are you? You still have, it is young mums, isn't it? I mean, that's your core market.
yes, it's moms, but I will not exclude men. I will not target them, but if they sign up, and it's
Yeah.
because maybe they like the way I talk.
Well, if you listen to some people, I think there's a guy Tucker Carlson, who's in America. He basically has released something about how testosterone is lowered in men. So maybe men are becoming more like women. I don't know, because they don't have as much testosterone. So maybe your market is expanding. But anyway, that's another story. But from your point of view, do you have the capacity to serve lots of people, or do you think that you're going to be, and will there be Americans chiefly, or you mentioned other parts of the world that you have lived in and potentially will live in? Are they going to be Middle Eastern or French or what else?
So the concepts of investing there are like worldwide concepts that are not going to change. Like knowing your restaurant is not going to change. Like
Sure.
knowing like how to choose the assets that are suitable for you and your family, this is not going to change. Like which broker you're going to use, that can change, but I mean, as long as you know what are the criteria to choose one, then you can apply to your own situation.
Right.
And then taxation, it will be independently of each person and the country where they live, but most of the, like I would say, like 80 or 90% of the concept can be applied for anyone,
And
anywhere.
will it be an English course, or will
It
you
will be in
translate it?
English.
So you
In
won't
English.
translate it into French or
No,
okay, fine, okay. Well,
no.
that'd be really easy for you to translate it into French. I mean, you're just too lazy, Malu. What's going on? No,
There's something I wonder about quite frequently in terms of niche. You know? The internet in English language is huge. But are the same resources available when you go into, well, a slightly smaller language, say French, for example, or say German? Is the opportunity to niche down into those particular markets? There's an open question.
I haven't explored, knowing the resources in different languages. The reason why I chose to keep it in English is because I learned it in English. I know the vocabulary in English. I know like the websites that I need to visit. I'm subscribed to all these, websites that talk about that, and I'll let you analyze. I don't know if they have the same in French or in Spanish. I know that in Spanish it would be amazing because people need it. I mean, everyone needs it, but I know that in Latin America, almost nobody does this, and is so much needed. And at some point, I can do like an event, but for the first course I'm going to launch, I think it's easier for me just to make it in English.
We were
raise it because you're clearly bilingual. You know, we've talked about this in Grow CFO. You know, we recognize that probably there's a need for our resources, but available. Well, we were talking Spanish. We were also talking French. But virtually everybody is English first language. Where do we start? You could have a huge advantage there, Malu, in having a second language already.
Yes, yes. Actually, English is my third language, after Spanish and French, and that could be a move for the future. Definitely.
You're, I mean, multi-talented person. That's for sure. And
Thank you.
I mean, Kevin's just given you another job there, hasn't he? Because he wants you to translate into Spanish and to French all of his materials. But that'll only take you an afternoon. Don't worry about that. So, but you're seriously, you're really helping such a lot of people. And you know, I felt that the previous podcast that we did to do with females not being able to get funding for their businesses as easily as men, that really touched me in the sense that's just wrong. And if you're helping females generally, young mums, become more aware of investing, and how to do how to do it properly, I guess most of them are going to be able to teach their husbands.
Absolutely. Like, I want to teach my husband how to do it.
Well, you're just taking on more. He's just got more time for the game, hasn't he? I mean, he'll be able to watch the football or whatever. What's his game? Does he like? Qatar, of course, is with the World Cup there.
Yes.
So you're not going back to watch the World Cup?
Well, I'm going back to Qatar just before the World Cup, but I'm not going to attend any of the games.
Oh, that's a shame, because England are going to win the World Cup.
I'm going to cheer for you. I'm going to watch it from the TV.
You heard it here tonight. They're going to win the Premier League next.
Oh, so, honestly, Malu, I knew you were going to be a fantastic guest, and you have been a great guest on the next 100 Days podcast. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Graham. It's truly an honor to be here serving your audience and having the opportunity to discuss these subjects that are, to me, like super important for everybody.
So, Graham, what an incredible young lady.
Yeah, she's so full of passion, and she was remarkably good at listening. I actually asked the reason. We were sat on the same sort of bench in this sort of bar area, and she looked like she was on her own. So I just thought, well, I've got this issue. What do you think? And we got chatting away, but she listened really intently, and she was, her advice was really good. And at the end of the day, and she went through some of the things that she talked about in terms of the things that she does, and her plans and all the rest of that, and her kids and the target market. And I was just amazed by that spirit, that sort of passion that she has for what she's doing.
Put that into context with what we talked about last week with David Horn and funded female founders. And I think one of the differences that comes home to me is that we men can talk a good game. Those ladies just get on and do it.
Yeah, well, this one
it's a little bit like the Lionesses, Graham. And for how many years has football been coming home? They gave up on us men bringing football home, didn't they? And they just went out and got it.
Yeah, no, I there's something special about women when they've got the sort of bit between the teeth, and I think they're just unstoppable. And I think she's a real credit to what she's doing. And I think the people who she'll work and serve are going to be well served by her. And you want to catch up with Malu on Instagram, you'll find that she's really, really, everything she's doing is just 100%. And I'm really, really pleased that she's agreed to join us on the next 100 days. So today I've been Graham Arrowsmith.
I've been Kevin Appleby. Goodbye.
Goodbye.